before I started doing these and reading these in such a way that I would not repeat myself over and over again, and that still hasn't helped because I just yesterday, I think, read about 15 that I had already read, nine or so, just previously, just listening. And thinking, because I didn't save the date or didn't save the document in which something happened in which I didn't have the date, the last date of the poem that I wrote. Anyway, before I started doing these, like we've done February's, December's, and now we're almost finished with July's. And we'll do another month, and after that, I may have already read these for this particular project because this month I remember was a particular whiz bang weird month and lots of long poems. By the way, this one is one of them, and it's a very strange one. And I mean, I don't know. It's a narrative piece about a cat, I guess, who's a pirate, maybe. We'll see in one moment. It's anachronism number 3289, posted Friday, July the 9th, 2021. It's called The Sacred Act, which is a anagram, whatever the word is, in which it means you use the same letters and you can create another phrase or word. Uh, it's the scared cat. Just a little hint. Nothing that I even mention in anything else, I think, here, but that's really where that came from. The Sacred Act. Its name abuzz with intrigue, mystery, with a hollow ring that is altogether too vague. But good people, what I say to you shall be naught but honest and fair. So I shall reveal to you that our sacred act's a good friend of mine, and flat out a cat. That's right, my pal's old essay is native felinian and the most revered subject of this here bad business we're having today. So what do we know so far, my friends? It's the facts that are the facts, just as cats were once kittens. But the tale to be told here today, my good folks, is of Sacred Act, whose, as has once or twice been iterated, I'll say it again for you, no scaredy cat. And as for the air de mystère, mes amis, Sacred Act, you very much likes it like that. So, no scaredy, our beloved Sacred, however, always a bit on the clumsy side. It took a big spill with its most precious bottle today, I should say at around about 1/2 past in the morn. But alas, all was well, or at least right thereafter, for once the dear cat had but picked its poor self right up, shook its tail, and took a bit and another bit, shook its tail just a bit and another bit, a cat with a modest amount of tail wagging. That's our Sacred, yep, that's our cat. Well, a nap was in order, and never one to miss out on a nap. Sacred was down for the count at one heck of a slumber till at least, I would venture, 1/4 past 1/2. At any rate, yes, it was thereabouts, when its nose awoke first, as what to behold, right next to its bed, but a heap of its favorites lambkin shawarma. I call S.A. Frady, it gets its goat. What fun we have sailing through days like this. So Frady's a bit bumped up and from its tumble, bumped up from its tumble, but its tummy is so overfilled with yummy, it doesn't feel a single ding. 'Cause how delicious the feast of shawarma. Sacred, Sacred Acts all a purr at digestion, while stretched in repose like the idyllic cat's pajamas. Folks, but once that lammy meal's fate was sealed, no burps on the lurch, as this cat's got some manners. Even afore it had gulped and then swallowed its ever delightful and ultimate mouthful, there weren't a bird injured at this most lyrical patty caking word. And much to the anxious kitty's chagrin, which upon some reflection was so stretched and so vivid, I might just suggest that its marble was nothing less than Cheshiresque. Our sacred act abruptly conveys, with his crazy, exaggerated teeth full of face, he's been caught unawares, and yet all too aware, that around him and speeding from every direction, with each and all aimed most directly at Frady, yep, more than most, horridly, scarily, verily, and if you were to ask me, at a mortifying swift pace, there comes the inordinate amount, yep, a whole bunch of downright demented, despicable souls. I mean, really bad, really mean, up to no good nicks. The faces of some, as they kept getting nearer, clearly were faces our cat found familiar. And oh, could I see on its face that poor sacred blinkingly wished that the faces of plenty, all coming, all aiming at him, weren't quite so familiar as they were becoming. But be a coming they were, and from every angle, and each one at speeds that, mes amis, just imagine. A person like me would most likely concede we're charging impossible well past full throttle, till holy tar nation, kaboom went the room. And between you and me, I could see on the face of my poor and all too swiftly departing companion what must have been. Is it some consolation? I do think it so. His last thought. And for that, let me rewind away from the chaos that causes our hearts so caustically so caustically bleed. Well, before all the monsters arrived at the scene just to tackle and maim our dearly departed, was now, so please bear with me, content, and not just from shawarma. As listen to me, old Frady, his angular ears all apert, was attempting to first to discern what sweet music, it turns out, the both of us at once did hear. I saw our dear Frady half tilt his fuzzy mug, twist one of its ears toward over there. You can see the circle at times it's piped in through. Its usual tunes, such fare I'd not even call music, so generally humdrum and dull, as it were, and of course for good reason in places of particular repute such as this one, that Sacred did manage to turn into such an upstanding and even occasionally cheery makeshift home sweet home. But I think I can say, and in truth quite sincerely, all but inconclusively, that Sacred's last thoughts were on that oddball yet somehow earnest, succinct little ditty that is called Massachusetts. And how and wow is it sung by none other than the good sweet hirsute brothers, whose name is Gibb. Now, what a fine song that'll bulldoze right through ya, and then clean the cobwebs right out of your skull. That's the tune that was playing, I swear to you, neighbors, and I saw for sure how it transformed our cat, how its gray, murky eyes came to silver with focus. I tell you that one clear moment of brute recognition, of spark, hit his eyes before things got all bundled, and Frady, our sacred beloved dear friend, but Frady, oh Frady, by then it was doom, because it was at the next moment our dear sacred act did kick at the bucket, and just right at that. So with naught but the velvety song breath of sweet, sweet disco a swirl in its head, our Frady, he died. Yes, our cat met its end. Crazy, huh?